Our poop pump has stopped working, and life is kind of difficult right now.
She wants to climb in your lap and have the next puppy.
We're the Jonases. We're a family of 10 plus a few more. I'm the mom PJ with my husband Jim, our daughter Brett, our sons Coulter, Emery, Fletcher, Graydon, and Hewitt, and our daughters Indigo and Jade. We have our hands full with raising dairy goats on our farm, making goat milk soaps and other products from their milk, all while homeschooling and homesteading happily. We love our life and sharing how we live on the other side of the fence.
Cagney started having her babies outside. It was like 40 degrees, it's pretty cold. It was like 5 o'clock. I was walking back to the house and saw her sitting there and licking something near her stomach, and I was like, oh, great. She would let me inch close to her and pet her, but as soon as I tried to touch the puppies, she would nip at me. And when Graydon got in, she growled at him.
Oh, here goes. Here, someone got a towel?
And that is my subject for that.
Who's got a towel?
There's no towels in here anymore. No.
Don't let her out.
Put that towel. Make sure it's not wet. The 8 on the wall.
Somebody go pretend like you're gonna like a tiny baby.
Or she's saying you could go that way.
I know. If I go that way, I have to get consensus.
Cagney, come on.
She wants to climb in your lap and have the next puppy.
This is our poop pump. It takes all of the sewage from the house, which comes down to here, and pumps it out to the road. These lights are bad when they turn on. Our poop pump has stopped working, and life is kind of difficult right now.
So we're opening up the store this Saturday, and there's still a lot of stuff to be done. We've got to restock or stock everything. We've got to deal with all the boxes we use to move everything, open everything up, put everything away, and then clean it up. So it's a very big project, and hopefully we'll get it done in time. But either way, we're still going to be opening up, and can't wait to see you guys.
Guess what Uncle Fletcher has for you?
What do you think he has?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Describing Fletcher in one word is kind of difficult.
Fletcher is caring and loving.
Loving.
Quirky.
Quirky.
Fletcher in a word is offbeat. Fletcher's greatest strength is that he is always thinking.
I think one of Fletcher's biggest strengths is that he cares very deeply about a lot of things.
He's not always thinking about good things. And he's not always thinking about things that make sense at all. But he's always thinking.
And he does care about a lot of things that not everybody cares about, but he cares very deeply about those things.
Yes, he does.
Hi, I'm Fletcher. I'm the 4th child here. I am the bottom of the top half, which is better than the top of the bottom half. So there is that. I, right now, will be covering the farm store, which is something I really like doing because I love talking with people. However, I have been trained how to make the soap or cover the barn, so I can be moved where necessary. For fun, I like to play ultimate frisbee. I collect coins and the currencies. I like reading, spending time with my dog, and yeah, I like being active.
I'm at the post office and I just picked up the chicks, and they are very loud, and as soon as you walk into the post office you could hear them. It's pretty cute. We are in the barn with Landon and Mason and Grandma and all of the new baby chicks, and it is time to unbox them.
Is that squeaking coming in there?
It's the squeaking coming from in here. Yeah, come here. Come. They're tiny. They're really tiny. Landon is scared of big chickens, but he doesn't really understand that these are chicks.
Relationships are hard. You're trying to find out everything you can about this person that you're interested in, while at the same time learning so much about yourselves. And it gets a lot more difficult when it's not only you and that other person, but you also have 9 other family members that you're all trying to interact with and figure out how they all play into the picture for your relationship with that other person. Because as much as the relationship is about you and the other person, it's also about the entire family. And when you have 9 moving parts on our side and then her side to worry about, things get really interesting really fast.
What do you think he has? You don't know.
I've got ice cream.
Ice cream?
Yeah.
You want some ice cream? Okay, come over here. Come watch. Which one do you want?
I'm getting you the mint chocolate chips. I know.
Do you want chocolate, white, or pink? Michael wants pink.
You get ice cream?
Why do I feel like that's just
Oh my goodness! Mama, can I have the ice cream? Can I have the ice cream?
Can you have the ice cream?
Yeah.
Not in the same cone.
That's for me. Not for me.
Mommy's gonna have a bite first.
Mom, I don't want to have
How many scoops is that, Fudge?
That was just 2.
What are you putting on? Okay, careful. He likes it.
Uh-oh, get down off the steps and come over here.
Don't step on the sign. Okay, go sit at the table. You like the cone?
I eat it.
You're eating it?
Yeah.
You gotta eat the ice cream first.
Okay.
I love ice cream.
If I had to describe Jade in one word, I would probably say eccentric.
Jade is a firecracker.
Jade is a firecracker.
Jade is whimsically intense.
Hectic.
Funny and sarcastic.
Jade is the youngest child, and she definitely lives up to that title.
Jade's biggest strength is the way she puts all of herself into all that she does.
Jade is super responsible. For being the youngest child, it's crazy how responsible she is and how she takes that responsibility seriously. And she's gonna go far with that trait.
So what I do for work is that I manage the soap room. So that basically just entails making sure that everybody is working and doing their job. And then I also print orders and I check the orders and I make sure all the orders go out. I'm also in charge of making sure that all the soap is processed. So making sure that they're not ugly, that they're all quality bars, making sure any problems that arise, I deal with those. So basically just quality control and make sure everything goes out on time. What do I do when I'm not working? Basically, I just play Ultimate Frisbee. It's a club sport that me and my whole entire family plays. Well, most of us, Brett doesn't really, but. So I play Ultimate Frisbee. I love visiting family, so like we'll go and visit our cousins or we'll just spend time as a family. Play sand volleyball, which we recently just got a sand volleyball pit in the back of the house. So we've been playing sand volleyball quite a lot lately. So just sports and spending time with family, really.
They're babies. They're really cute.
Just
Come
ask.
here.
Just ask, right?
Yeah.
No, these ones will not eat you.
Come here, let's see how the little baby ones.
They're this big.
Yeah, come here.
They're little baby
I'll hold
chickens.
your hand so they will get. Okay. Ready?
Here we go. Open up the chicks.
Oh.
And these are our little chickies.
Oh, they're furry.
They're little babies, Landon. They're not big chickens. Look, they're so cute. They're so cute.
Oh.
You want to pet one?
You want to hold one?
Gotta be gentle.
Yeah, hold
There
one.
we go. Just make sure you hold them lower to the ground so they don't fly out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Put your hand, come down here.
You can pet it. You can
You,
pet
can,
it.
you
Okay,
don't have
so
to hold them.
now when we get our chicks, the first thing we do is we dip all of their beaks in their water so that they know where the water is, and then we'll dip it in the food. So we just take them out like this, and we go water. Oops, I wasn't recording. We can just dip their head in so they know that there's water here. and then we pass them on Mason. Do them in the food, and then we pass them and dip them in the food, so that they know where it is. And then we'll just grab the next one and dip and pass it to Mason. Dip and pass to Mason. And that's how we do all of our chicks, to make sure that they know where the food and the water is, and of course they have heat lamps to stay warm. But that's how it works. It is day 2 and we have a very different outlook on the chicks at this point. What do you have, Landon? Show the camera.
Down. I think he's thirsty.
Oh, you think he's thirsty?
Let's get some water. Okay. Oh, it's just water.
Well, I guess he doesn't want water.
I guess he does.
I guess he does.
Okay,
The food supply in America is really kind of scary. The quality of the food is just so poor. The nutrients are just completely lacking. And a lot of it isn't even safe. You know, there are all the recalls, all everything. And so it was very important to me, and still is, that we grow a lot of our own food. That's why I got the goats in the first place, so that we would have the healthy milk for the children. And raising our own meat is something that, it's not the most fun job in the world. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like butchering animals is something that any of us get excited about, but it's important that we give these animals a healthy life. They get to be chickens, they get to be out here on grass, they get to be in sunshine and see the blue skies, they live a good life, we feed them well, and when the time comes, they then help to nourish our bodies. So it's something that I taught the children from the beginning. You know, if you're going to eat meat, then you need to understand where it comes from, you need to respect it. I also think in this country we tend to eat a lot more meat than we should, and when you raise your own, you tend to put it a little bit in balance and you don't eat quite as much of it, and you tend to eat more fruits and vegetables because it's a lot of work to raise meat.
Landon and Michael were pretty unsure about the chicks when we first got them. They were a little bit unsure what to do, but once they warmed up to them, they did not want to come out of the pen, and they really enjoyed spending the time in there. And Landon was always picking them up and always asking to go see the chicks, and we were like, we just went out there 15 minutes ago, we don't need to go again.
When I first started talking to Mason, my dad didn't realize it at first. And then when he did, he told my brother to keep an eye on us. And my brother, who I shall not name, decided to sit across from us and stare at us like this for the entire time we were sitting on the couch together that evening.
So my dad actually really doesn't like guys at all. He's like, he does not like us hanging out with guys.
I was the youngest of the Jonas girls to start dating. I had a boyfriend when I was 16, and Dad definitely wasn't super happy about it.
So the idea of my kids dating is not something I've ever been very comfortable with. I've invested a lot of time and energy into my children, and somebody else coming along and messing them up is just devastating to me.
You're so bizarre. I love you, but you're so bizarre. I love the children dating. I think that it's really important for them to get to know potential spouses. I like the fact that they get to meet people, ask questions. You know, it changes the family dynamic when they start dating. And that is something that really impacts particularly the younger children who aren't dating more than really anybody else. And so that was something that kind of took us by surprise a little bit. But dating has been a good experience, I think, so far.
So I was the first Jonas to ever date anyone or even be interested in anyone. And I felt pressured to kind of set the standard.
My mom had always told me that she wanted me to date and get experience, and I personally was a little picky. I didn't see the point in spending time with someone if I didn't see it leading to marriage. And so I turned down a lot of guys because I decided that I would rather write 3,000 to 5,000 words that evening than go on a date with them, because I didn't see it leading anywhere and I didn't want to lead them on, and I felt like I had a better use for my time than leading on someone that I knew there was no future with. So I really felt pressure to set the standards, and I personally decided as a young teen that I wanted to wait for marriage to kiss. And so I felt like I also had to set the standards in other areas for my siblings, that you could date in ways that were different than what the world shows.
Dating as a Jonas is kind of interesting. One of the things that I've definitely noticed about dating Ashton is that I have a far more unique relationship to my siblings than I ever expected and thought I had. I thought that it was pretty normal to do everything with your siblings all the time. You know, we all play the same sport. We all end up doing a lot of the same thing pretty constantly.
I have no idea what dating is like as a Jonas. I've never done it.
Well, I mean, I've never dated anyone, but I mean, I had a few close calls, but I've never officially dated anyone. But I think we're like some of us are very serious when we come to dating. And so like, Indigo was the first one to ever break up with somebody or anything. All of my other siblings, the first person they've dated, that was the one they were gonna marry. It's very serious, it's a very serious thing.
Ashton and I decided from the get-go that we were not going to be kissing before marriage, so we decided we were going to wait until our marriage day to have our first kiss.
Yes, I will definitely be waiting for marriage.
I do think there's a benefit to waiting for marriage. I personally am very glad that I waited, and I don't have any regrets for past partners that I just don't have.
I think that it's really important that the children have principles, and if they choose to not cross that line before marriage and to kiss on their wedding day, I think that is wonderful that they've stood by those principles. I remember Brett coming to me a couple weeks, like 2, maybe 3 weeks before her wedding, and saying that she was really struggling with not being able to kiss Mason. And I said to her, I said, Brett, I said, you're not gonna disappoint me if you kiss him before your wedding. I said, you don't have to tell me that like I'm going to, you know, have a problem with it or anything. I said, so if you feel like you need to kiss him, you know, then go ahead and kiss him. I said, but I think you're going to be disappointed in yourself that you made it this far, and 2 or 3 weeks before, you know, the end date, you gave up on your principles because for whatever reason you decided that was important to you, and those reasons are her own. And when you give up on what you decide is important to you in the face of temptation, we tend to regret that a lot of times later. And so I think the fact that they chose that is less important to me than the fact that they maintained it and they followed through on it, because that shows a strength of character that makes me really proud to be their mom. There are some things in life that you just take for granted. And the fact that when you go to the bathroom and you flush and everything disappears and doesn't come back, that's kind of something important in life that you take for granted, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And so when some people call it the sump pump, I call it the poop pump, because that's really what it is. It's pumping the poop up out to the road. When your poop pump breaks, and if you don't catch it soon enough, all of that stuff backs into your basement bathtub. That's what happens at this house. We had a warning. I like to say that God gives us nudges, right? And it's your job to pay attention to the nudge. and Brett and I had a nudge, and we totally blew it off.
We were walking from the garden to the pickleball court, which is right by the sump pump. And as we were walking, we heard this noise. And we looked at each other and we were like, what's that noise?
Does that usually make that sound? I don't recall that making the sound. We're like, no.
And then we kept walking to the pickleball court, and Dad was coming to meet us. And we were like, oh, we need to tell Dad. And then
we never did.
2 days later, the sump pump broke.
Yeah.
And Mom and I looked at each other and went,
that noise! That's what it was! We didn't do anything about it. We ignored the nudge.
So yeah. We probably could have prevented that.
When your poop pump breaks, it's never fast enough. We'll just put it that way.
Right.
It's never fast enough because every time you flush the toilet, you're like, oh, I really hope this doesn't go to the basement.
Well, and it'd be one thing if it was just a matter of that sort of personal inconvenience, but when the goats get milked twice a day and that system gets cleaned twice a day and all of that cleaning goes to the same place, that's not something we can simply say,
sorry, you can't be milked today.
Go poop in the woods. We can't do that. It's still going to fill up from the milking. So that's why it's a vital piece of the farm. Who knew a little pump would be so important?
He's Jim. He's the chief poop pumper.
I think she's enjoying this too much.
Oh, because how many people have 70 people coming to their house and the poop pump breaks?
Check my LinkedIn for an update to my resume now that I have a new title.
Oh, God.
And I'm assuming you checked outside.
I walked around and really crying. I don't know if my dead one stuff.
I'm sure she kept them together.
What?
I said I'm sure she kept them together.
Come on. No, the puppy's up here.
She's gonna have any black ones this time?
So when I got in, she had 2 underneath her, right?
Yeah.
Outside in a hole, and I had to leave, and Samuel was working later than he should have. So it was like, who's gonna deal with this? So I ran over there, and Samuel and I tried to get the puppies inside, and that was fun.
Yeah, that was eventful. But we ended up finally getting the 2 in there, and then getting Cagney to follow us into the warm barn. What do we call that area?
Dog office?
Dog office, that's it. And we just locked her in there for the night. Me and mostly PJ stayed in there. Eventually she left until she had all 8 of her puppies. She finished at about 10 p.m. Friday night. All 8 puppies are warm and healthy right now.
And was it the 7th one or the 8th one that was?
The 8th one was black. We were really hoping for a black and white puppy. And then when the 7th one came, I was pretty sure she was done. But about an hour later, I went back out and she had a 8th one, and it was our black and white one.
So we don't have any black sheep, but we have a black dog.
Which means I'm trying to match clothes for my kids to a dress that I don't currently have.
Neither of these 2 are doing super great. They were born this morning in the super cold, and they are struggling.